what you find with these geometry puzzles, if you like, is that really it's about, like, once you phrase a question, do you remember when I said, like, a problem well phrased is a problem half solved, right? Except in phrasing, like, there's no words here. It's all about, like, what constructions do you put on here to make it clear, right? I only put on, I'm just double checking, yep. I put on two lines, and they're very simple lines as well, okay? They take advantage of the fact that there's one, and there's the other. Okay. These are the only constructions that I'm going to place on my diagram. And I needed to know the fact that, can you see you've got this big thing is a big quadrant, okay? Then you've got two semicircles here. And the point where they meet, because this is a big quadrant, right? This semicircle and this semicircle have the same diameter, right? Which means they meet here, and this radius and this radius are each the tangents of the other semicircles. Let me say that again in case you didn't miss it. This radius of the left-hand circle, right, is tangent to this semicircle here at the bottom. So I have a whole bunch of right angles in here, right? Critically, I have a right angle here, right, and I have a right angle here because of these things being quadrants. Okay. So now let's have a go at this, right? The first thing I see is that this guy here, radius, all these right angles, it's a square, right? It's a square. I need some language. I haven't given you any length, so you don't know the size of this thing. So I'm just going to call the radius of this semicircle R for radius, okay? We'll let that be the radius. So therefore, step one is, what's the area of the square? Simple question. It's just R squared, okay? That's easy enough, okay? Now to work out what the area of this orange part, A1, is, right? I need to know what this part is. So I'm going to call it area 3, okay? I've got area 1, area 2. There's my third one. Okay? How do I work out the area of that area 3 in there?
Oh, you take on...
It's going to be the square. What do I take away?
Minus 1 plus 3.
I take away this little quadrant in here, not the big quadrant. There's a little quadrant here, right? So I'll call that the area of the small quadrant. Is that okay? The area of the small quadrant. Our quadrant is a quarter of a circle, and I've called the radius of that circle R. So it's a quarter of pi R squared. You agree with that? Okay, so now to work out the third area, right? The third area is the square. Take away that small quadrant, right? So it's just R squared minus a quarter pi R squared. You happy with that? Okay, so now I'm only one step away from working out what the orange area is, what area 1 is. Area 1 is going to be, it's the square. It's the square. What do I have to take away from the square to get 1?
2.
Yeah, two of these guys, right? So it's a square, take away 2 of this guy, right? This not quadrant part. So that's R squared minus a quarter pi R squared. Yep. When I tidy that thing up, that's going to become minus 2R squared, so that'll be minus R squared there. And then this guy here is a double negative, and that's being doubled. So I'm going to get a half pi R squared out the front. You happy with that? So now I need to work out this big area up here. Okay, this big area. There's a few different ways I could do this. Okay, probably the easiest way is to say, okay, this whole big quadrant, right? The big quadrant, area of the large quadrant. Remembering that I've said this is R, okay, what's the radius of the big quadrant?
2.
It's 2R, good. And a quadrant is, of course, a quarter of a circle. So it's going to be a quarter pi 2R, that's the radius of that big quadrant, squared. You agree with that? Okay. So this is going to be 4R squared. 4R squared is in a quarter there. So this is actually just pi R squared. You okay with that? All right. Now, how do I get area 2 now? It's going to be this large quadrant. What do I have to take away from the large quadrant in order to only leave me with the green part? Okay, so make sure you're going to be careful with like overlapping stuff. Yeah.
The square in one semicircle.
Yeah, good. Very good. Square, right? Plus quadrant. And 2 quadrants, of course, is just a semicircle, right? So there's the big quadrant. I'm going to take away the square. Okay? And then I'm going to take away a semicircle, right? A half pi R squared. Yeah? Which is this and this are like terms, which are going to leave me with that. which of course is A1 as required. Okay, it's a beautiful little result.